You are beautiful. But do you know what makes you more beautiful to me than what you look like? And I mean this. I'm not just buttering you up. I swear to you, I don't lie. There's no point in lying. Lying's just ridiculous. Because of your personality, the things that you say and the way that you say them just makes you a truly beautiful person. And any partner that you see the way I did that politically correct there, whatever partner that you decide to be with for the rest of your life is going to be an incredibly lucky person. Now, I'm not here just shooting sunshine at your bum just because, like, you know, oh, look at this nice guy. He says all these nice things and oh, he must be so nice. No, I say them because they're true. And I do mean it. I am a little bit of a catfish. People see I'm skinny because of my face. Hey, look at me. My camera, I mean, I think I must have bought my camera from Hogwarts or something because my camera doesn't make me look as big as what I am. I love it. But, you know, but it doesn't matter about your size, sweetheart. It really doesn't, you know. And the thing is if you're comfortable with the way you are, fucking own it. Sorry for swearing. Yeah, yeah, Gal is junkalicious. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And we've allowed other people to influence so much to think that it does matter. So we have to shy ourselves away, and we really shouldn't. We really shouldn't. And it also doesn't always have to be about weight. You know, some people have complexes because they've got bad teeth. Some people have complexes because they've got acne and stuff, and, you know, or they're just not as aesthetically pleasing to look at as others. But you know what? You're still a beautiful human being. You know, and instead of sitting in your holes or in your little dungeons in your house or whatever else, and just not allowing yourself to be out there just because you don't want some arsehole to come along and take the mickey out of you. I'm sorry for swearing, but I get passionate about this. I really do. Don't do it. Own it. Because I'm telling you something now. When you go out in the world and you get taken the mickey out of, and then you take that and you realise that the person that's giving it to you is just A, beneath you, for number one, right? And B, you kind of look at them in a different light as to say, well, why are you doing that to me? What's wrong in your life that makes you want to do that to me? You know, once you realise their flaws, all of a sudden you don't care anymore. When you reach that stage, oh, I'm telling you what a turning in your life it's going to be. The confidence that you'll feel when you wake up in the morning, instead of like looking in the mirror and thinking, oh, there we go, look, there's that fat, ugly person staring back at me that I hate. And learn to love yourself. And then you'll also find other little things happening. And I'm telling you this because it's true. Because I've done it. I'm doing it. You know? One day you'll look at yourself and you'll think, what a wonderful day. Morning. It's good to see you again when you're looking in the mirror. Instead of, oh, I look like this and I just feel terrible and I'm just going to do what I always do and make myself feel worse. I've been living with my partner since November, and he has seen me during anxiety attacks and the grim stuff. I've never had this before, for someone to not get disgusted at me. Without makeup and eyebrows and invisible because I'm so blonde. There are less mirrors in this place, so I'm not seeing myself as often, only during makeup time, and it is so much for my confidence already. There you go. Oh, well done. And hat off to your partner. I mean that, because that's what you should all be doing. You should all be making your partners all feel the incredible people that they are. Because they have to be incredible, otherwise you wouldn't be with them. You know, if you're not telling your partner on a daily basis that you love them and you appreciate them, then, you know, are you really in love with them, and do you really appreciate them? That's the way I look at it. My missus, every single morning, I could show you the text messages on my phone. There are 365 every year. There's 365 good morning beautiful texts, or good morning sweetheart, good morning gorgeous, good morning darling, good morning angel, every single morning. And every single night there are, hang on, what's 3 times 365? Brain's gone to sleep. Alexa, what's 3 times 365?
Times 365 is 1095.
And there are 1095 goodnight kisses that I give my wife every night, and that my wife gives me. So when people start fixating on numbers like the scales and stuff, and how many people have been nasty to them or made a nasty comment, and you're working all of this out in your head, remember that you've got those other figures as well. And then remember that those other figures mean more than the people that have been nasty. Stop giving them so much energy in your life, everybody, because it's not worth it. Everybody was born the same way, and everybody has the right to be happy. So you control your life. Believe it or not, you actually do. Make it a good one, because you don't get a second chance at it. When it's done, it's done. Learn to appreciate the little things. Stop chasing the dream of owning everything and wanting everything, and start appreciating you. And I know this sounds like some kind of inspirational Tony Robbins, whatever his name is, inspirational speech and whatever else. I'm not stood here on a soapbox platform. I'm sitting here talking from experience, because I've gone through it. I'm going through it. I lived with it. I'm 48 years of age now. At one point in my life, I weighed over 500 pounds. So I know how it feels more than most. And I'm still here. I'm still going. And you know what? Above all, I'm happy. I'm happy when I come on stream and people actually come to watch me, because I still don't believe it. I don't believe that I'm a nice guy. I don't believe that, that anybody would have any interest in watching me whatsoever. And that's not me begging for people to come in and go, oh, you're a lovely guy, and I'm asking for reassurance or fishing for comments. I'm telling you the truth. I don't. It's funny, I was talking to somebody a while ago, and I'm going to keep it all vague because I am not breaking anybody's confidences, because I don't do that. But this person, and they know who they are, this person admitted to a flaw that they've got, with a certain type of food or drink. And then they actually turned around and said to me, when I said to him, you need to try and do this and that. And they kind of come back and they said, but I'm not as strong as you. And I was like, what? You think I'm strong? They're like, well, yeah, because you've done it and you're doing it and you're awesome for doing it and whatever. So you know what I did? I actually really took off my armor and I put my camera on my phone, and then I showed them 2 empty boxes of all butter shortbread biscuits. And these ain't small packets, okay? I'm going to tell you that right now. And I told them that I ate them both in one day. I said, so don't ever think that I'm this incredibly strong person that doesn't have his demons and his battles, because I bloody will do. But you know what? Whereas I used to sit there and lambast myself, oh, you're such a failure, oh, you're such this, you did that and you've done this and blah, 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 blah. I accept the fact that today wasn't the day that I could win the war or the battle. And me, when I see trifle, yeah, but I accept the fact that I've got it. But you know what? I take that acceptance and then I make sure I don't do it again. I make sure as much as possible that I don't do it again. And then what I'll do is I'll try and counter the scales. Oh, I love trifle too. I like triple chocolate trifle. Oh, that's my jam right there. With the sponge layer, with the chocolate chip cookies and the really nice whipped up chocolate mousse at the bottom, with that lovely chocolate like ganache in it, and then the cream, and then the chocolate flakes on top. Yeah, I'm there with you right now. But I also love strawberry trifle. Oh god! But you have to put extra lady fingers in it. Do what makes you happy. Yeah, you're right. But you know what? There's a caveat to doing what makes you happy, right? You can do what makes you happy every day. But the problem is that ultimately going to make you happy? Or is that just going to make you happy for a little while? And that's the distinction you have to make. So the next time you look at a trifle and you ate one 2 days ago, for argument's sake, you got to look at yourself and think, oh my God, that trifle's going to make me feel so good and I'm going to enjoy eating it. It's going to make me really happy. But then weigh up the cons of, but I had one a couple of days ago and I was happy then. So maybe I just need to let this happiness go on for a bit longer before I try it again. Actually talk to yourself. And if you can then turn around and go, you know what, I want it and it's going to make me happy, then you do you. But just remember that every action has a reaction, cause and effect. And if you can live with the effect of your temporary happiness in your longevity happiness, then you've made the right decision. But if you can't, then you need to come to a compromise with yourself. And this is where a lot of people fail. You know, everybody thinks that like just because they failed something once, that's it, I'm going to give up. And as a wise man once said, and as I've constantly said a lot in this channel, is that you only fail when you stop trying. It doesn't matter if you've quit smoking and you've been off cigarettes for 7 days, because it's not all just about food. You know, you've been off cigarettes for 7 days and it's like, oh, something really bad's happened, I've got to have a cigarette, and you go and have one. And then you're like, oh, I might just go and buy a box now because I'm back smoking again. No, you're not. You had a moment of weakness. Weakness is human. And all you need to do is just get back on the horse again. It's when you stop getting back on the horse and then you think, oh, that's it, I can't do this no more, I'm going to stop. That's when you failed. To err is human. I believe a famous poet once said that. And I just think if people had more confidence in themselves, you know, and decided to take life by the balls and just go for it, I think the world will be a lot better place and with a lot happier people. Notice the way I'm not trying to tell people to not be horrible to each other, because you're never going to stop that, because you can't control it. Because as much as you would like to, you can't control what others do, what others think, what others see, how others react. What you can control is the impact you allow them to have on your life. That's the key. Control what you can control. And then, with a bit of luck, you'll start to be happy. And then when you're starting to be happy and you're starting to be confident, you will start to feel more energy in yourself to put yourself first rather than everybody else's feelings that they feel about you. And when you can do that, all of a sudden, dieting, exercise, not eating the wrong foods and eating the right ones, all of a sudden, they're not these difficult things that they used to be. All of a sudden, you've got this newfound confidence and love for yourself that it just becomes easier. And it does. I'm not saying that it's easy. I'm saying it becomes easier. It seems I'm slowly getting there, but for 24, I'm not doing badly when people think I'm a good manager. Yeah, I can imagine you are a good manager. People managing is not easy. That's the reason why managers are usually paid so much, because of the crap they've got to deal with and the pussyfooting around of everybody and knowing everybody's triggers and how far you can push them. I mean, look at Creed. I'd love to work for that guy. He's so relaxed and laid back, but he's also got the ability of turning around and saying, no, you can't do that. Don't do that. Do this instead and whatever else. But he does it in such a way as he makes you feel comfortable. And I just think I just think he'd make a good boss. And I mean, he's been at his job a while now, so he must be doing something right. Either that or he's really good on his knees. Yeah, I'm sorry if people think I'm just sort of sitting here being falsely inspirational and whatever else. I'm not. I recently had a situation of where it's been made apparent that close people are suffering from things that they shouldn't be suffering from, and they're also fueling the things that they're suffering from. And I just hope that maybe one person, even if one person listens to me and actually tries to do something to change their life in some small way for the betterment of themselves, then as far as I'm concerned, I'll keep on talking and talking and talking, because even one person is a win, right? Because the way I look at it is, if you just get that one person, then with a bit of luck the domino effect will come in, because that one person will do what I'm doing and maybe tell others, and then maybe another person will do it, and then so on and so forth, and before you know it, we're all confident, we're all happier, and that is the ultimate goal, in my opinion. And also, completely 0-calorie chocolate and strawberry trifle would be awesome. Thanks. If anybody out there is listening that can do that, I would love to be able to eat a calorie-free trifle, and make it part of my actual diet routine to eat one every day, maybe two. You know, I'm not greedy. I'm just, I like what I like. I did see number 3. Yeah, there it is. You know something? Us fat people, we're jolly and we're funny for a reason. Because we spend all of our alone time. Oh man, this is deep, and this is actually true. The reason why we're jolly and happy when you see us is because in our alone time, we are usually crying and depressed. And when we see other people, it makes us feel so much better to make you laugh and make you happy, because that's what we would like to do. That's what we would like you to do for us. That's why we're jolly. That's the real reason. And I defy any fat person out there to tell me otherwise. Because we want to see people happy. Because we don't want you going home going through what we go through. And I'm using that for fat people, but I'm also using it for other people that use humour as the same kind of thing. Look at poor old Robin Williams. He made billions of us laugh. Such a lovely guy. And then ended up, unfortunately, taking his life. Because he couldn't take it anymore. And you got to think to yourself, what's behind the curtain? And if some people actually took the time and care to look behind the curtain, maybe there wouldn't be all of this. The brightest smile holds the darkest secrets. Yes, it does. I'm getting better with my anxiety, depression and panic attacks. I think you can all see that. I can see it. My life has completely done a 180 and I so appreciate it. But you know what? I was actually forwarded to a mental health team to help me deal with this, who were, in my opinion, completely useless. Except for the psychiatrist that I see. Everybody just reads from a book these days without any kind of personal understanding of it. And because your symptoms are in a book, or you've got that. They don't look at the individual anymore, and I don't feel like I was helped at all. I'm not going to lie. You know, basically, they do a complicated way of saying, cheer up, get out of bed, eat less, move more, boom. And it's not the case. You can't tar everybody with the same brush, because wonderfully, we are all individual human beings. We may have the same genetic makeups, we may have the same body organs and whatever else, but we are completely different people. And that's what makes us all special. But it also means that we don't follow a uniformed regimen that everyone can follow. Because if we could, we'd all be billionaires. We'd all be successful, beautiful, perfectly healthy people. But we're not, because we're individual. I'm not a peace and love kind of guy. Never have been. I just believe that everybody has the right to be happy, and I think like a lot of people realise that it's not that difficult to be happy. You just need to sit back and work out what's making you unhappy, and really look at it. Don't just think, oh, I drink too much, that's making me unhappy. Well, then instead of just looking at the fact that you drink too much or you eat too much, you know, why do you drink too much? Work out what the problem is. Cut it off from the source. But people don't want to deep dive into themselves, because then they've got to admit that they've got flaws. And we all have them, all of us. That's why I showed somebody what I showed them when I showed them it. Because people might look at me and think, oh, yeah, but you're doing it. You know, that's brilliant. I wish I could do what you do. That was actually what I was told. I wish I could do what you do. And then that's when I showed. You know, I still have my bad days. I still do things wrong. But my key to my success so far, and who knows what's going to happen in the future, but my key to success so far is the fact that I don't give up. I'm prepared to admit that I'm flawed. I'm a flawed human being. I have my issues, you know, and I work with it. I could quite easily just sit there and go, oh, I did this, it's so bad, I'm just going to give up now, and I'm just going to go back to where I was before. And at the time, that's all I want to do. But I don't. And that takes courage. That takes a lot of strength. It's not an easy thing to do. But what I'm saying to you is that we can all do it. And when you start tapping into it and start doing it, you'll notice just exactly how easy it is. But it starts off with you caring about yourself more than what you do other people. When I say caring, I mean caring about what they think about you, and actually allowing them the time in your mind. It's where that expression, you let people live rent free in your mind. How many of them people would you let rent free in your house, eat your food, interact with your family? You know, I guarantee you now, not bloody one of them. Yet you allow them to live rent-free in your head. Kick them out. Fill those rooms in your head with something more productive, which is you. Well, I've really prattled on for a while about that, haven't I? I apologise for those that have just turned off and like, oh God, he's rambling again. Actually, I haven't heard it put like that. Yeah, well, it's true. And it's true. And it's that little light bulb moment when you realise that actually he's got a point. That makes sense. And it does. It genuinely does. And it makes sense because you can follow. I'm going to use a Star Wars quote now. If you can follow your thoughts through to conclusion, you'll realise that I'm right. So it's not just me spouting bullshit. You know, you've actually sat there and thought about it and you've realised, hey, yeah, he's got a point. I wouldn't let anybody like that live with me, interact with me, but I allow them to sit in my head and then literally control what I do in my life. It's nice when you can make these little epiphanies, isn't it? And these are what you got to look for. You know, every situation can be bad or good, but every situation also has a little good and bad. Let me give you a couple of little dark, for instances. If you have a relative who's dying from a disease, right? That's a bad situation. And it is. And if anybody out there are experiencing it right now, my heart goes out to you because it's not a nice thing to go through. But the nice part about that is that when they actually go, they're not going to be in pain anymore. They're not going to be suffering anymore. And that's the good part of the situation. So even like Dumbledore says, you know, even in the darkest times, one can still put on a light or something. I can't believe I don't remember that quote. It's actually on my light switch in my in my passage downstairs. I can't believe I can't remember. But yeah, there's always light at the end of every tunnel. And like I said, I know I'm probably sounding like an inspirational guru. I'm not. I'm just an ordinary guy that's been through it, going through it. And these are the epiphanies that I've made myself, which I'm kind of wanting to share with people, men and women. Right? Because most blokes don't talk about it like I do. You know, blokes especially. I'm sorry, women, but it's true. Blokes kind of, us men, we internalize it all because that's how we're brought up. We can't show fear, we can't cry, we can't do this, we can't do that. Granted, it's got better since we're in the new ages, but in my generation you don't do it, and you just keep it to yourself and you shut up. And if anybody's talking like me, you usually just look at him, whatever, and you have your preconceived notions about them and whatever else, and you just carry on about your day. And I just feel like talking about it, bringing it out into the open would help some people. And I'm prepared to do what I can. I'm no expert, I'm just living it. And like I keep saying, if I just help just one person in my life, whether I know about it or not, I'll know I've done a good thing. And that's enough for me. It may not be enough for everybody, but it's definitely enough for me. I genuinely haven't shut up for ages now, have I? I'm just looking at it. An hour and 2 minutes I've been doing this. I think I've been prattling now for about the whole hour. Just seeing. Oh, and I did turn around and say about an hour ago that I was going to zoom out so you could all see. I might do it at the end, so then you can actually see. Because at the moment it looks like I've done quite a lot. To give you some idea of the scope, that's my hand with my finger, so you can see I've done just a little bit, and there's a lot more to go. The only thing I ask that you all do is ring someone, visit someone you haven't seen for ages. You know, just a quick phone call to let them know that you still think about them. You'd be surprised what a buzz that gives people. You know, just makes them feel included, wanted and thought about. You imagine what it's like when people ring you. And you're like, oh, that's nice. I ain't heard from him for ages, you know? It was a really nice phone call. This one is so much more detailed. Yeah, it is. Hey, you're furious? It is, but I'm loving it. I am. This is going to look really good at the end. My granddaughter is going to be so happy with this. What should we do now? Shall I? It's awkward to go onto that bit now because this is all going to be wet and I'm going to end up putting my hand in it. Just having a look. The painting, I've got to be honest, like, there would be a lot of times on here that I would go over the paint that I've already done. But because this is like a magical forest with a unicorn in it, as you can kind of see from this picture here, I'm kind of thinking the fact that the paint looks a little thin in places adds to like the magicalness of the picture. That's not just me being lazy, that's me having a stab at trying to be artistic. But the problem is that I'm getting that effect because the paint isn't going on as well as I would like it to. But I kind of want to keep it. I suppose what I could do is keep it till I've finished and then look over it then. And then if I have to go over certain places, I could just do that. Right, so what I'm going to do here is I am going to zoom out and I'm going to show you all. Probably going to get to see my huge gut. Go default. How's that? Oh, there we go. So when I tell you that this picture, as you can see there, how long is it before you can actually see the top of it? I did this before on stream and there you go, you can see it there. So now you get the general gist of how much has been done compared to how much needs to be done. And this is why I want to keep doing these little hour-long sessions or 2-hour sessions on this regularly, because it's going to be a bit of a marathon to get through it. But as you said, Furious, it's definitely much more detailed, and it's going to start looking lovely. My issue is, it's not necessarily an issue, but this painting isn't going to start looking like anything until I get to around this point where you can start to see the unicorns start to be painted, maybe even the butterfly or the fairy, whatever it is over here with the colour, because it's all just going to look like this until it starts to look better. So I'm looking forward to it because it's going to look really nice when it's done, and I'm definitely all about it.